question to answer to.
Okay.
So do we have customer service? Yes, but as to if we are doing it well is another question. I would say we are not there yet, but we will get there. In brief, I think that's what I'll say. I think we are not there yet, but we'll get there. Because some organizations or some businesses are doing their best to improve upon the service they render or the service they give to customers. On the other hand, some other businesses, I don't know if I should say, are not putting in their best, or they are not giving the positive experience that customers need to have, or what they intend to give customers. So in a nutshell, I often read people's comments on social media to say customer service in Ghana is like 0 or is in the negatives or it's so bad. Because when you read people's experience, sometimes some are so bad and terrible. And you definitely also have the good ones as well. It's like, yes, some people are doing their best. Other people also think, I can't be bothered. I'm here to make a sale. And that's all that matters. But so that's where we find ourselves in Ghana. But I would say we have a long way to go.
We really do, actually. Yes, so if you can, first of all, share with us what customer service is. Maybe that can help us to be able to live out, what was expected of us, first of all, as customers, and then when we are on the other side as well.
Okay, so as businesses, we are in business one way or the other because of our customers. Not to say our employees are not important. Our employees are very, very, very important as well as the customers. But if the customer doesn't patronize your business, you're not in business. You need to close that. And so we are in business because of our customers. And we realize that our customers have needs. And we thought that, okay, we have a problem to solve these needs that they have. So as businesses, we came about with our product or our service. So the customer had a need, and then as a business, you said, okay, I have a solution to your need, which is my product or my service to attend to that need that you have. As customers, we are all customers one way or the other. And most often when we find ourselves in the seat of the vendor or the business owners, then we begin to categorize customers. So customers are like this, customers are like that, forgetting that we are also customers. When it favors us and we are sitting on the seat of vendors or business owners, we see customers as different beings that God created and tagged them customers. But the unfortunate thing is, we are all customers. When you sit in the church driver's car, you are his customer. When you sit in the Uber or that boat, you are a customer to the driver. When you join that barbecue or the Wachik, you are a customer. When you go to the hospital, you are a customer to the doctor or the nurse that is attending to you. So how you want to be treated, treat your customers the same. Customers are emotional. We are emotional beings as human beings, and we form our perceptions. And our perception is based on some expectations that we expect to have. So as I said that as a business, we often would want to address the needs or the problems of customers with our products or our services. That is just one part of it. And then we have that our brand promise to give to our customers. That means we have, as a brand, we have a promise that we are communicating to our customers, and we communicate this brand promise either through our social media, through advertising, our billboards, or word of mouth, or whatever. That is what they are seeing as a product and the services that the customers see. But behind those products and services lies in the business's policies, their strategies, their culture, their rules, their regulation, their vision, their mission, their employees as well. These are the parts that the customer will not see or will experience it. All these things put together is what gives the customer that experience that we want the customer to have when they come in contact with our brand. So that moves me to say what customer experience is. So customer experience, basically, it's the total of all the interactions that a customer would normally have with a brand at all their touch points, the touch points of the brand, and how the customer will feel when they have or when they come in contact with the brand. Customer service, as will I say, is that also a vital part of customer experience. It's just one part of the puzzle. Okay. Customer service will come into place when you need to contact a company. So that is when now you have that face-to-face interaction with a company, or you call them via the phone, or you send an email, or during the service when the service is provided to you or the product is provided. And then when you have an issue, you come back to it. That is where that customer service is. And that is just one part of it. Customer experience is a bigger umbrella. Under customer experience, you have the digital experience. As a business, you have digital products, or you have apps, or you have websites, or you have social media. All these places are touch points that the customer gets in touch with you or communicates with you. So when the customer says, let's say, comes to your e-commerce website, and your e-commerce website is not that friendly, it's not easy to even pay on it, and you are restricted that maybe when I even transact my business with you and I'm using mobile, I don't easily get my PIN to continue, and it's so frustrating as an experience. At that point, the customer is not really talking to anybody. So you think that is not customer service, so it's not important, but that is why it is part of customer experience, because it influences the experience of the customer, whether the customer will go ahead to complete their transaction on the digital platform or the e-commerce platform or not. You have a website as well. A customer comes to your website and your contact information is not there. I need to call to follow up. I don't get any number to call, but rather you see a contact us form. And then I ask myself, who is a contact us form for? So I should put in my details, and it will take you 72 hours to get back to me. People will not use it as part of the experience. Customers currently we are in that era of the customer world, where customers are exposed to a lot of information, and they have a lot of information at their disposal. And currently, customers have a say. Unlike the first when customers say, anything goes, they take it. But no, currently, customers have a say, they have a voice, or we as customers have voice. You provide a service for me, I'm not happy, I tell another person. The person may be on a WhatsApp platform with over 200 people. It's just one comment that destroys the brand's name. So customer experience is everything you do in the business. And it's part of your business strategy. Gone were the days where businesses were competing on products and price. Currently, ask yourself, which products do we have that are not really a substitute of each other, or they are not nearly the same? You can't really compete on products currently. Neither can you compete on price, because price war didn't start today. And price war won't end today. I can easily look at your price and say, you are quoting 200 cedis. I can also quote 199, or I can quote 124, because I know the price. But then where the world is shifting to, or where businesses are moving to, is to compete on customer experience. You can't come and sit in my office every day and watch the experience I give to people. Do you know what goes into it? You have no idea my processes. You have no idea the strategy sessions I have to set to develop those processes that you see. You have no idea the SOPs that are backing this things. You have no idea the technology that I have to implement to give the experience or the digital experience you're saying. So it's not easy for you to come and copy it. But I can copy your product. I can copy your price. Even when you should see a product, packaging as part of experience. Do you have an idea what went into these people's packaging before they designed their product bottle or their container the way it is? So you would copy and you realize that you're always after your competitors, watching what they are doing. But a lot goes behind the scene before you see what you see. So the overarching thing is the customer. Under customer experience, we have employee experience as well. How you treat your employees will determine how they treat your customers, is the truth. So you can't assume that our customers are key, which is so good. But if we don't give our employees that right experience, they don't translate it to our customers as well. Do we empower our employees so well to be able to deliver on the brand promise that we want customers to have? Do employees really understand their role in the organization or in the business? Is it that employees that just have that face-to-face interaction with the client? That is most often what we just think. We just think it's that salesperson, that marketing person, and the person sitting at the reception, and they are the only people who often have an impact on customer service. That is often what we use. And that is why people who often sit at the back, that we don't see them, who are often at the back end, the operations, the technical team, they think customer service is not for them. So that is why we say, yes, customer service is key because it's an integral part of customer experience. But then that is where the IT person who sits in their department will know that the contact center person, the salesperson, depends on him or her to get the job done. So if the IT person doesn't do their job, if the purchasing person doesn't do their job, if the sales, the other people we don't see, the finance person do not do their job, if the security, head of security do not do their job, it affects the person who would have that face-to-face interaction with the client. So at the end of the day, as businesses or as organizations, we can't work in silos. You would have to work together to be able to deliver on the brand promise. That is why often, let's use maybe the financial institutions, for instance. You have an issue and you call the contact center and you speak. There's little the contact center agent can do than to communicate with you by empathizing with you. But to resolve the issue, he or she has to depend on somebody. But because that somebody thinks, I don't see the customer, it's like, take your time, you can't rush me. It's like, can't you see the servers are down? Yes, we know the servers are down, but know that you are serving somebody. So if you think about it, that you're having that face-to-face interaction with the customer, and that if you don't give the feedback to the person who is handling the customer, the person cannot do his or her job, then that is where the issue happens. So often you get the client, the person who is facing the client is the person who is being reported. Those people, they don't know how to speak, they don't get back to us on time, but it's because they are dependent on somebody. And it's not a culture. So you have an organizational culture for everybody to know that we have to work together to deliver on the brand promise. And we have to work together because our work depends on each other. You can't achieve customer centricity. Because everybody is working in silos and it's like, we don't care. And if that is not done, that is why we often see the problems that we see. Apart from it being that most of it, the people who clients face with us are also a problem as well, also have their own issues. Why am I saying this? A business owner thinks that, oh, look, if I have to get a front desk person, sorry to say, let's just go and get a GSS leaver. That is not to say a GSS leaver is not smart or can't do the work. But I ask myself, do you know that person is the first point of contact that anybody who walks into the business will see? What are you trying to let that person portray? And the sad aspect is they bring that person there without training because they think customer service is common sense. No, it's not. You need to train. If you've not trained somebody, you don't expect the person to deliver on it. What is the person going to deliver on? You need to train the person. The person should understand how you do your things in your company. So it's reduced to that. So people think, when I train my employees, they will leave. If you don't train them, they'll still leave. So which one would you go for? Would you train them for them to stay with you even that short while for you to be able to deliver on your experience and the promise you have to your customers? Or you'll say you won't deliver. As Steve Jobs will say, if you think training your employees are expensive, try not training them. And that is when you realize that it's more expensive because they will cost you a lot. Why am I saying they will cost you a lot? They provide buying experience. I'm not happy. I'll go and tell my friends about it. I'll write it on social media. And then what happens? You don't get other people coming to you. No referral. You still have to pump a lot of money in advertising, whereas you have free word of mouth that can do the advertising for you. At the end of the day, it affects your bottom figure, which is your revenue, and you're not making profits. And you don't understand. You're not making sales. You don't understand. You can't retain your customers. You don't understand. Because you think, the person should have known. No. Did you train the person? Yes. Now, after you've trained the person, how are your processes? How are your SOPs? You realize you train people, and maybe when it comes to customer complaints, the person doesn't even know what to do. And business owners get mad. You should have known. Do you have an SOP for customer complaints? Has the person been trained on it? Does he or she know who to follow up on if complaints come in? How long? What is the SLA? If I complain after 2 hours and it doesn't happen, what do I do? They do not know. But yet still will be so much in a hurry to blame them. So all these things comes together. You would ask yourself, maybe the security person is we subcontracted it to a third person. This is what I've been saying. So you provide your product or your service to your customer, and your customer has received it, has used it, is happy, has referred you to another person, your job is not done. Because that's why we are in business. We want them to talk to other people about us. So often we are so much in a hurry to subcontract some part of our business, which is good. But ask yourself, what are the measures you put in to let that subcontractor know that you still have an effect on the overall experience that my customers receive? So sometimes delivery, we give it to some delivery company and we don't care. And what we say is, oh, it's not in our domain, the delivery company will give it to you. It's never true. Delivery is part of your experience.
Yeah, that a lot.
Yes. So you've delivered and I've received and I'm happy and I've used. Your job is not done, because we have the whole customer journey, which has to do with retention and loyalty as part of the customer journey. So your work is not done as a business. So we subcontract security to a third party, and we don't care how the security men behave at our car park, and we are okay because they don't fall under us and we are the responsibility of the security services. No, they still affect your brand because they are a touch point, because customers will come in contact with them. So you can imagine driving to an organization, the security man sits in. Let me use we the ladies. Maybe you are wearing a flat slippers because you want to drive comfortably. You get to the car park, you change your slippers, wear your heels, and just when you're getting there, the security man comes in, Madam, park well. And then you ask yourself, so when you saw me driving in, you didn't see me. You never saw me parking. You waited. After I have parked, I have worn my heels. Now you want to remove the heels and park well. So that is where the whole customer perception, exactly. That is where the energy starts stacking. So the customer is an emotional being. So the customer will now enter into the reception or the reception or maybe the storeroom and is already upset. The customer is not upset at you, but it's because that person at the car park, at the security, caused that. So that emotion, the person carried it along. So that is why even the security person is part of customer experience. Your cleaners are part of the experience. I can't come into your company, I want to use your washroom. There's no soap, there's no tea roll, the place is in a mess, water is not flowing, because why? The cleaner thinks, oh, I don't speak to customers, so my job is not that important to customers. The washroom is a touch point. I come there and that place is not clean. It speaks a lot about the brand. So everything you do in the business is customer experience. So till we change our mindset, that is why I said there's a difference between customer experience and customer service. Customer service is just one part of the pie. And customer experience is the bigger umbrella, because on direct, you have digital experience, and direct, you have your employee experience, and direct, you have your customer service, and direct, you have every other thing, because that is part of the business strategy. But so we don't see it as such and we take it out. That is why we see all the issues that we see, because we are not there yet, but we'll get there.
So for the kinky seller, how are we able to reach these people to let them understand what customer experience is, right from the time they go to buy the maize or the corn to processing it till it gets to the roadside? You know, because I think they are even the worst offenders, if I should say. You know, the attitude they give you, they meet you for the first time, you go to buy for the first time, and it's almost like they know you from somewhere, you've harmed them. You know, I was trying to find a way to get this session to the semi-literate audience, but it couldn't happen. But at least maybe those of us who are on here can find a way to educate them. So what would you say about that? And then you can go on to answer the question about what is lacking in right now. I'll use customer experience because we have the understanding now. So
okay,
what is lacking in our customer experience, right from the corporate to the what do you call it? What's the term for that sector? Informal. Yes, informal sector, yeah. Okay.
So as you said, the kinky seller out there, as you and I, we have to help. And your show is one of the platforms that would say you're doing a good job, that will help them, that will reach out to them for them to understand. Yes. You know, we sometimes ask ourselves that we go to Dubai and we are so like happy about the experience because we have citizen experience. It's a strategy for them. It's been documented as a process. USA, I think last year passed their citizen experience as a law. So they know how, they've documented how public sectors should behave in terms of treating with customers. You go to Singapore and you're surprised why people are behaving the way they are behaving. You go to Japan. These are countries that often when we talk about citizen experience, we use them. Because they've understood it. It's derived all the way from the top. And people know that this is your responsibility. You need to do it. My brother went to Japan recently, and when he came back, he was like, when he went there, he was just so surprised about how they do their things. So he was like, Mandy, I think now I understand customer experience better when I went there. Why? Because when somebody they do their job, they don't think you need to tip them. They see tipping as an insult. So from the word go, they were told, if you go to a restaurant and you're happy about it, or you see a cleaner cleaning very well, you don't need to tip him or her, because he or she sees it as an insult, because they are paid to provide that experience to you. So as I hear in Ghana, I bet you try not to tip somebody, and now it becomes like it's mandatory, like they deserve it. Why didn't you give them that tip? But no, that is a change. That's a mindset. So when it comes to customer experience in SMEs, informal sector, corporate institution, it starts from the top. It starts from the CEO. It starts from the C-suite executive. It starts from the COO. It starts from the CFO. It starts from the business owner, the entrepreneur. If you don't understand, you can't trickle it down there. Because the person down there who is trying to do their best, if you don't understand, you frustrate them. They can do the little that they can. But if you don't understand it, for it to be a culture in your business, that is where the issue often starts from. It needs to be a culture. Everybody has to come to part. Everybody needs to come together. So it's not a departmental thing. When you often go into a corporate institution, most often I'll say again, the financial institutions, that's where you easily hear something like head of customer experience, or the customer experience, the short form is CX. So you hear head of CX or CX transformational head or something. What they have to just do is to co-create with everybody. So that's why when you go to a typical corporate organization, you realize that the customer experience head is in everybody's issue. Why? Because everybody comes together to deliver on the brand promise. You can't work in silos. Every department has a part to play. So the customer experience person or professional has to act like a catalyst to drive the whole reaction for the customer to get that experience that we want. So for us, the question, as you said, for us to be customer centricity involved, or for us to increase the experience to give to our customers, we need to drive it from the top. If the person at the top doesn't believe in it, it becomes difficult. Because sometimes we feel customer experience is just a nice to have. It's not a nice to have, it's a must to have. It should be part of that integral part of your business strategy. The way we go out, we go for 1 week. Oh, we are going to draw our business strategy as an organization. That's the same way you do customer experience. Add it to your business strategy. It needs to be part. If it's not part, people don't think they have a role to play. People need to understand that, yes, this is your role in the business. But do you know that your work, if you don't do it, will impact on somebody? Somebody relies on you to get their job done, and you also rely on somebody to get their job done. So customer experience is not limited to corporate institution. It's in everything you do. Is it event? Customer experience is in there. Is it what farming? Everything you do, because everything you do is about process. So I'm here to say an organization that do not have a process. Everything you do is under process. And as I coin it, the three-legged tool of customer experience is people, process, and technology. You can't achieve a positive experience when you do away with one leg of it. Then that means you will sit on a chair that is one leg broken. So you need to look at your people. Your people here refers to your employees, refers to your customers. You need to look at your so people, technology, as a PPT. So people, technology, and process. So all these three come to. So you can't do away with process. You can't do away with technology. You can't do away with people. These three-legged tool come together to provide a positive experience. If you do away with one, you find a gap in your business, or you find that negative experience that your customers will receive. So you can't do away with that. So for us to be able to achieve that experience that we want our customers to have in every sector you find yourself, you can't do away with these three.
So from what you said, it sort of gives me the impression that there should be some sort of empathy towards those who deliver customer service. Like those are the very front. But then again, you run the risk of giving them the excuse to misrepresent the company, you know. So, I mean, what can be done if someone, let's say, let me give a practical example. You go to maybe a clothes shop and the attendant is rude to you. I think most Ghanaians find it difficult to constructively confront the person. What would be your suggestion? Should we talk to them and find out why is there a problem, you know, because of what we've learned right now? So it could be that maybe their mistress or their madam has annoyed them, you know, so that has affected the general customer experience. Should we give them the benefit of the doubt and allow it to slide, or we try and find out why are you behaving the way you are towards them?
Okay, so you don't have an excuse because somebody didn't behave nice to you, your madam didn't treat you well, so you provide a bad service to the customer. It's no excuse. So I wouldn't say we should give an exception to people who are the salespeople or who do the face-to-face interaction. No, they are all involved. That's why I said nobody can work in silos. They are a part of it. So that's why I said customer service, though it's one part of customer experience, it forms an integral part of it, because that is where you come face-to-face or you interact with the customer. And how you interact with the customer will depend also whether the customer will come back to you or will not come back to you. So that the business owner has a lot to do also with who they employ. Are they trained enough to be able to provide service? You'll be so surprised. A lot of the people you see, let me use a store, most of them are not trained. They expect that they should know. And ask yourself, even when they are trained, as a business, do you solicit for feedback? Do you document your feedback? What do you use your feedback for? So if I've come to your shop, I have bought from you, how do you even know I came to buy from you? What feedback form did you send out or survey did you send out for me to complete, for you to know that I came to your shop and I had this bad service and so you do something about that. We don't even take feedback. It's like we think some of the things are left just to corporate, but it's not true. The way you see the corporate, it started from somewhere. As informal sector, as an SME, you need to start from somewhere. You may not have money to buy a CRM tool, which is expensive, but you have Google Forms, you have Google Sheets. They are free. You are not paying for them. So why don't you use that to your advantage? We sometimes, people buy and say, oh, give me your name and contact. And sometimes I ask, what do you use it for? It's a lot of data, but we don't use it for anything. It's like we are happy to know that, oh, we have a whole book of names and contacts. And then what is the next thing? We don't use it for any customer insights. We don't use it for any research. It doesn't show us the behavioral pattern of the employee, the customer. So you get a customer who comes to you often, buys clothes or shoe from you. And then the next time I ring, I say hello. And then you say, hello, who am I speaking to? You don't even, you've taken my data all this while. So what do you use it for? And then I want to buy, and you say, where am I delivering to? You've been using my data. You took where I mean, so what did you use it for? These data, as we say, data currently is money and data is gold. What do we use them for? We don't use them for anything. So then I'm wondering, why are you taking the data then if you're not using it? So these are a lot of data we can use. So that person who is having that face-to-face interaction with you at the shop, at wherever, informal sector, formal sector, needs to be trained. And it doesn't end there. You need to empower them. It doesn't end there. You need to hold them accountable. Do you appraise them? Do you have an appraisal form to say every 6 months or 1 year, we appraise our employees to know what they are doing best or what? We don't do that. And then we wake up one day and say, you are costing me a lot, go home. And when labor law takes you on, you don't understand because you have nothing to grow. So these things are not left to the formal sector, or they are not left to corporate institution. As little as you are, no matter where you start from, 1 man, 2 man business, whatever, you can put in the little effort to be able to give the best of experience to your customers. You may not need to invest into the whole technology because you don't have that money, but technology comes in so many forms. As I said, Google Sheets is a technology, you can use it. Google Forms as a technology, you can use it. You're not going to pay for it. Maybe you don't have the whole app money to invest into technologies and apps to get you to where the corporate people are, but you start from somewhere so that you'll be able to provide that best of experience to your customers and get them to talk about you. That is free marketing you're not paying for. Word of mouth. Customers believe their fellow customers who have used the brand's product more than what the brand tells them. Customers generally believe what another customer says, but more than what your advert is saying, because they don't believe us any longer. Because they feel it's all marketing gimmicks. What you say is not what you are providing. But when another customer says, I've used it and it's good, yes, that is what they believe. And sometimes I see some comments on social media where would say, people have built their hard brand reputation, and why don't you go and speak to them, and you put such comments on social media to destroy it. It's the same way when it's good information, you want them to put it on social media. But it's unfortunate that bad information travels faster. So you can't stop a customer. That's what I'm saying. Customers currently have a voice, and we are in that era. So if you don't want your name being put there, is it the person who is client facing? Get the person to work well, train the person, empower the person, appraise the person, take feedback from customers, use the feedback as well to your own good. If not, we'll just be back to where we started from.
Thanks a lot. So you've actually answered my next question, but is there something more to add to it? So this is talking about improving upon customer experience, apart from all you listed now.
Okay. So when improving about customer experience, as I said, is to try to get everybody in the business to understand. It's try to get everybody in the business to know where you're heading towards to. It's try to let them understand that, yes, we are here for the customer. It's for you as a business owner to also have the employee at heart. Because sometimes as an employee, ask yourself, you have employees who have stayed in businesses 5, 6, 7 years and they've never been trained before. Are they expecting them to do the wonders? And I ask myself, you've not taught the person what you want the person to do. Yes, so you need a lot from the person. How do you expect the person to do the whole magic?
Yeah.
As employees, yes, money is good. We all love it. But there are that other little things that sum up to the employee experience. The environment that which they find themselves. It's that little things that we need to do to improve upon our employee experience. I sometimes tell people, maybe with the smaller firms or SMEs or informal sector, maybe a formal sector has the whole health insurance they can pay. You've not got there yet. But what can you do? We have NHIS. Currently, maybe renew NHIS. How much will it cost you? Is that the little you can do for your employee in part as part of your insurance when it comes to health that you can't provide? It's that little things. But sometimes we refuse to see those little things and want to wait till we get money to do it. But you can invest in that little things to give that employee the best of experience for them to be able to provide the customer with the best of experience. You need to train your employees as well. You can't assume. It doesn't mean employees just being in the customer-facing role. Employees in every other field, they need to get better at what they do. And I bet you'll get into organizations that you have a lot of people that they still don't believe in training because the people will leave. And you are rather causing the business more harm than good when you don't train them as well. So you need to train them as well. You need to put your processes right. Ask yourself, we have what we call the customer journey. You have to be intentional about it and design it. That at this aspect or at each point of my customer's journey, this is how I want them to feel. And if this is how I want them to feel, what do I do? It's a whole strategy. You need to sit and design it. Customer experience is intentional. It's by design. It's not a mistake. You can't just sit and have it. You need to sit, design it, draw it, and say at each point of my customer's journey, okay, at the awareness stage when I'm advertising, this is how I want my customers to feel. So I'll make sure I have A, B, C, D there. You sit and design it. And it's not static. It doesn't mean you design it and forever in your lifetime as a business, you are done. You need to come back because customers' tastes are changing. The era is changing. Digitalization is changing people. So you need to come back to your drawing board after a year, after 2 years to see, is it still valid? Or has your customer segmentation changed that you need to change it as well? So you need to do all these things as well. And each and every day, go back to your process and see, is it delivering on what we really intended for our customers, or the experience we really intended for our customers to have. If it's not, you need to go back. And it's not one person's responsibility. Everybody needs to come on board. Because when you are designing the customer journey, every department or every individual has a part to play in the journey that the customer goes through with the business. From the time they didn't even know about you and they saw your advertisement, so the time they purchased and they used and they came back. There's a whole lot of departments that come together to form that journey. So you need to get everybody on board, or a rep from each place, to design that journey that you want your customers to have, for you to be able to give or provide that experience that your customers need.
There's a lot going through my mind right now. What you said, I realize I keep stressing on training your employees, teaching them what to do. It actually reminds me of Sunday sermon at church. It was about our relationship with those who help us, the house helps, the garden boy, and there was a stress on teaching them what to do, especially because most of them come not from the city, and there are lots of things they don't know. So if you want a certain experience or a certain outcome from your relationship with them, you need to teach them. And I sort of see that this customer experience that we're talking about even has to do with our relationship with people like that. And that's really profound. If we want to get results from them, then we need to pay attention to them. Even what you just said about giving an NHIS, etc., all those things would even serve as motivation, like incentivize them to deliver on what they're supposed to do. And I think it ties
when you mentioned the house help thing, and then I just remembered one as well, because there was a friend was telling me, so he had a house help, right? And then asked the house help to wash the footwear of the kids. And what she said was, wash the footwear of the kids. So to her, she assumes that the house help should know that you need to take a sponge, soap, bowl, something, and go and wash it inside. She came into the kitchen, and the sink, the house help was washing the shoe in the sink. And she was so mad. Like, she said, I couldn't believe, exactly. So she said, the husband, when she was shouting, the husband peeped and called her in. And she said, think about it this way. This lady from the village, they have this, local language called ankara, that basin, that thing, that pan. And that one pan in the village or in their hometown, they use it to bath their babies. They use it to wash. They used to wash their clothes. They used to wash their bowls. They use it to do everything. So she sees that sink as that ankara or whatever, pankra or whatever, let's say. So to her, it's forming the same dynamics. If you're washing a bowl, I can put the shoe inside. So because you've not trained her as to what to take to wash the bowls. So sometimes we also think that certain things they should know. But after the husband said it, she sat and was like, yeah, it's true. Maybe that's how she sees the sink there. She sees the sink as that pan or whatever they use in their hometown that can do everything. So as he said, customer experience is everywhere. So you've trained her to know that if you want to wash a shoe, this is how we do it, because she's not used to your sink. We'll get it wrong.
Yeah. So coming from this, what can you say about workplace ethics and how that influences customer experience?
Okay. As much as when the wrong person does the thing is punished, when the good person does the thing, or he or she does something good, the person should also be praised for it. What do we have in for our employees? The sad part of it is, because we have, what I've seen also is, employees, maybe we all have attitudes. And the sad part is, when we are recruiting, we recruit for skills and not for attitude. And then now the employee comes in and showing that attitude that doesn't match with your vision, your philosophy, and your mission, and you don't understand. You can train for skills, but you can't train for attitude. So can we really look at our recruitment process when we are recruiting again? There are certain things that will get you to get that attitude out of the person, or the attitude that you want to see when the person is at the interview. Currently, when it comes to the skills, there are so many CV templates, so everybody can write a CV now. And I always say, unless the skill is so that technical that the person needs to have it before coming in. But a lot of time, you can train for skills. The person needs to have that basis that you need to be able to work, but you can't train for attitude. So if you have two people, that both of them have the good skills, one person's attitude fits your vision, mission, and philosophy, and go for that person over the other person. But we often close our eyes to the attitude part when we are recruiting, and that is where most of our issues start from. And we have that one bad nut who is in the company, who is not doing the thing as it's supposed to do. Nobody's speaking about it. The person is just left in there because we think the person is, the most hardworking person. So if we let him or her go, what will we do? But that person is affecting every other person else. Every other person comes in and sees that attitude and it's like, it's accepted. So they learn from it. And you can easily find this formally in our SMEs and our informal sector. So we don't do anything about it. So that one bad attitude or character corrupts every other person, and we sit in there like that. And when the one person who is doing it right is in there, he or she is not being praised for it. So he or she also gets tired and said, then so you hear people saying, because nobody cares. Because that's the mentality, so nobody cares. So we need to look at these things from the word go. When we are recruiting, it would bring some change into the whole ethics or the whole culture that we have as an employee, because culture is part of the DNA as a business. So if you don't get it right, you mess up everybody, and everybody picks out the bad thing one way or the other. So we need to relook at it from our recruitment process. As a formal or informal, SME, whatever, you need to look at the whole journey of the recruitment process as well.
Great, good one. So we'll go to the questions, but I want us to tackle, you remember someone sent a question on Facebook when I posted the flyer, and he's asking, does Ghanaian hospitality necessarily translate into good customer service? I mean, this is a whole session on its own, talking about Ghanaian hospitality. When my sister actually is the one who pointed this out to me, and she was like, and she and I both said that for a long time we were, in quotes, deceived to think that Ghanaians are really hospitable, But as we began to grow and mature, we realized that it had certain not so good motives, especially when foreigners come into the country and they're all nice. You can be sure that at the end of the day, they want some money, So first of all, talk about Ghanaian hospitality in a bit, and then how that translates into good customer service.
I smiled when I saw that question. The reason is because, recently, one of those December programs that we have that, I've forgotten the name, that we get all the Western people coming down to Ghana to visit, blah. Come again.
What? Pan-African.
I've forgotten the name, but I mean, one of these are normal December, it's often in December. And
Chalawoti?
Not Chalawoti. We often have, I think they have a name for it. I've forgotten.
Pan-African something. I've forgotten the full name myself.
And we had one person, right, who came, who is a media personality. And when he left, he wrote a whole article about the hospitality.
I think I remember that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he said it already. He said Ghanaians are hospitable. Even when they are delaying you at the restaurant, they still will smile and say, the food is coming now. Like, how? It's not about the smiles. The smiles are good. But it's about the experience. At the restaurant, I have placed my order and they'll tell you, the food is coming. And you ask how long? It will come. And then the man will go on with us. You see the menu and ask, what can I order on this menu? So, everything is nice. I mean, like, which one is nice? So why do you have everything in there? So it's a language you often hear Ghanaians are hospitable, which is to an extent. But do we show it in our work? No, we don't. To me, I don't think we do. Because the way we speak a lot about how Ghanaians are so hospitable, Ghanaians are if we should only take it into our working environment, we see the change. Where is the empathy when we are in work? We don't see the empathy there. We don't care. The empathy is nowhere there. The communication is nowhere there. And I often would say, communication is not just about what you say. It's about what you are not saying and how you said it. That is what communication is about. Because the words just form about 7% of communication. All the other is about your body language. And it's about the message, it's about the tone and everything. It's about your pitch. It's not what you said. But Ghanaians, as you're saying, we're hospitable, but find ourselves in the working environment. You get there and maybe the person is supposed to attend to you. The system is down, can't you see? How am I supposed to see? How am I supposed to know? Or your food is delayed. Can't you see there are a lot of pressure in the kitchen? Take your time. Okay, that's the communication. It's not what you are saying. Communication goes beyond what you are just saying. It's what you are not saying and how you are saying it. That is what communication is about. So yes, Ghanaians can be so hospitable and everything, but if only we would transfer that same energy that we are saying into our work, then we'll say it. But really, when we find ourselves in our working environment, formal and informal, we are not.
That is so true. It's rather unfortunate, but we are hoping that, like you said earlier, platforms like this and we who are enlightened will help to improve this sector in the country, because we have so much that
we have that Ghanaian, I still call it Ghanaian culture or mentality, where you say Enyashri, Jemu Menka. But if Enyashri and you are not saying it, who would change? So when you are found being speaking out to some of these things, it's either your term as too known. Oh, yeah, sada, what you're on crowd, and you're approaching what's now where now. But then how will you change? It's a culture and it's a mindset. So we change from that mindset. A friend was telling me she had a house help. So the house help said, oh, she needed to go back home because the mother was saying ABCD, so she went. And the man said, oh, you need to stop and come and sit home, blah. And she said, okay, then I need to go back to my madam and give her some time to also look for somebody and tell her. I was like, it's the mindset. We think we don't hold anybody responsible. I mean, leave that job and come and sit. Is it because it's not formal? So it's a Ghanaian mindset. So we change our mindset and our perception as a people. I mean, we would still be laggards, because as the world is moving, as the world is changing, you don't need to see a different color for mine before you give me a good service. Service is not a bias when it comes to, it's not racist. Service has nothing to do with the profession. Providing service has nothing to do with how much somebody is paid. Providing service has nothing to do with where I come from or the color of my skin. It needs to be your attitude. Customer service or providing service should be your attitude. You should provide it irrespective of who you find or where you find yourself. So don't try to disintegrate and say, oh, I'll provide service when I see a white person and when I see a black person. No. So irrespective of what, so till we change our mindset as a country, we'll continue to be where we are with service.
Thank you so much. So we'll move on to the questions. As always, if you have any question or comment, you can raise your hand or just unmute yourself and then go ahead and ask. So the floor is open. Lovely audience.
Hi.
Hello, Mr. Duff. Please go on.
Yes, our sister has just mentioned her mother's experience in Japan. And she talks about a whole nation, which has been wired for customer experience. And I can also say that what she said, I have not stayed in Japan for so long, but at least I've stayed there for not less than 10 days. And I can confirm what a mother said. But I want to say that we're talking about Ghana and we are talking about nations. Can we also say that there are certain places that we tout that they are, as far as customer service, customer experience is concerned? I mean, sometimes they teach, they have the Harvard, on the marketing side, everything, they write books and all that. Can we see that coming to America, customer experience, as far as USA is concerned, how will we rate the US? Because a lot of people have gone to US embassy for visa, the kind of experience that they've had and all that. If it were not for the fact that there is the need for some people to travel because they have loved ones there, they will never venture going to the US embassy because of the embarrassing experiences that they have had. So what do we say? Sometimes we talk about other people having customer service and all that, but when it comes to some particularities, you really see that they are found wanting. Is it just because people need our money, and that, for that matter, sometimes they will fake as if they are giving customer service. But when it comes to customer experience, even the students that go to Harvard or Yale or some of these places where they teach marketing, and all that, you have the very good professors, they will do all these things, but a student's experience in one of the schools, you will see that they are found wanting. My question is long, but what can she say to that?
Yeah, Mr. Dapson, you are so right. I agree with you. As much as you are speaking about these things, we have places in Ghana as well that are providing good service or good experience that you would always look out for, that you always want to go back to it. So we even have places in Ghana, likewise, that are doing, they're doing marvelously well in all the industries you find ourselves. Is it hospitality? Is it financial? Is it, yeah? And then you have the others that are not bothered. So sometimes, I ask the same question. Have we asked ourselves? I remember recently there was an airline issue here in Ghana, and we asked ourselves the same question. If this airline found itself in another country, would they have behaved the same way they behave?
Correct.
I asked myself, is it because we don't have anything, supporting or we consumers here in Ghana? What is our consumer protection? I think we are now trying to revive that act, but it doesn't work for us. Ask yourself, is it really working for Ghanaians? Our consumer protection, is it really working? Is it still there? I had somebody ask me, does that thing work? Is it there? And I know recently is a law that is trying to be passed. But some countries have that and it's protecting their citizens. But in Ghana, do we have that protecting us? You find the same businesses as you are mentioning in another country, they wouldn't do same. But you find them here, they do same. And who are you going to report to? Who are you going to tell? Who is speaking for you? Nobody. So that is why we all need to come together as a citizen and pray that that act is passed as fast as it can and as soon as possible for it to also favor consumers here in Ghana. We have nothing favoring us currently. I don't see it though. But because you find the same companies or same institutions in other companies or in other countries, and they are doing well. But then if it is us and we face it, nothing is fighting for us.
I agree. When he was asking the question, what came to mind is there's laxity in the system. And when these people come, they realize it. So it's like when I go to Rome, I do what the Romans do. So even though back in my country, we have all the rules and we are doing the right thing, over here, it's free. So why bother putting myself in a straitjacket and trying to behave like I do back in my country? So I think as a nation, we have a lot to do. so that when foreigners come in, we are treated like we own this place. Because sometimes they come in, it's rather, it seems like it's the other way around. They own us in our own country, So yeah. Mr. Dobson, has your question been answered, please?
Oh yeah, yeah, you rightly said it.
Thank you so much. There's a question in the chat. It says, our default hospitality seems to be reserved for foreigners more than fellow Ghanaians. How do we change this? That's what I was saying. Even with the foreigners, it's money driven most of the time. I mean, I won't say everybody, but majority of the people who are hospitable to our foreigners is because they know that they can get some foreign currency. But yeah, we are nicer to them than to our fellow Ghanaians. How do we change that?
I can say we can only change that when we change our mindsets. It's a mindset issue.
Yeah.
It's the way we've carved our mindsets. So for us to be able to change that, then we have to change our mindsets. We need to work on our mindsets. That is where it starts from. So we change our mindsets. I mean, it wouldn't work that way. So just listen to the example I said about the house help. The mother was saying, "Oye broniana." It's oye broniana be back. I mean, it was a class when you go back. Yes. So you see how we think. It's the mindset. It's a culture thing. So we change our mindset and the way we think when it comes to service. I mean, we'll always be there. Service has nothing to do with somebody's fair, somebody's black, so differentiates how you provide service. No. Service has nothing to do with somebody's rich, somebody's not rich, so provide service differently. No. So that is why you go to the bank. The basic brand promise is to provide everybody equally, but then they have segmentation. So that's why we have people who are the high-end network, but the basic service, everybody receives it. The basic experience, you would get and you'll be okay with it. But then that is where it comes into play. So we change our mindset. You think, I think I can see a question here and I like it. So Abby, let me add it to what he's saying, because he's asking, what role can the church play transforming this status quo? And what should we do for our children to be? Exactly. And I love this question because Ghana is seen as a Christian nation, really, that majority of people are Christian. We can start from there. As parents, we can also do our part. So people in the school can do their part. People at the church, we can also do our part. So it's like, it's everywhere. Even in our church, that's where you find out, they'll tell you that, hey, if somebody has money, when the person doesn't come to church twice, they notice the person. But if you don't have money and you don't come to church 1 year, nobody knows you're there. It's even in the church. So you see, experience is everywhere. But so we stop and we try to work on it because it's a human institution, and certainly you find some of these things there. Yes, but we can make it better. So till we drive this whole agenda, everybody is involved. As much as I said in the formal sector that you can't work in silos, it's the same for citizen experience. It's not only the role of the ruling party or government, it's everybody's responsibility. The parent has a role to play. The church has a role to play. The teachers, schools have their role to play. The mosques, everybody has a role to play. So we try to drive that agenda that, look, let's look out for ourselves and look out for foreigners as well. Don't try to separate and segregate and say, I'll be nice only to Ghanaians and not to other people. No, you need to be nice both to Ghanaians and to foreigners as well. And it's a mindset thing. So we change our mindset and everybody comes on board that we are all going to play a role. It will be so difficult for us to drive the change that we want to see. The government can do their part, but then what happens to us? I think this evening I just saw, I don't know if there's an old video, but I saw a video of, I don't know which community it is, that you have the railway that somebody went cutting it. And I asked yourself, why are you cutting the irons to? It's a railway for you in your own community. No. You need it. You're cutting. I mean, how? It's like, we have a long way to go. We will get there, but we need to put in the work.
We really do have a long way to go. In terms of the question about the role of the church, one way that achieved is for us to teach ourselves and our children our worth in Christ and know that the fact that somebody, I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Getting the notification that my internet is not stable. Okay. Yeah. I think knowing our worth, because most of the time we feel like whatever comes from the West is better than what we have here. So I think that also informs how we treat the foreigners. We sort of look down on ourselves. So the church has a huge task to do to teach its members the fact that if you have Christ, then there's a lot in you. I mean, you are worth so much. I mean, he died for you, so why would you, and you should see the other person as the same, whether they are black, white, poor, rich, and treat them as such, that God loves them as well and values them as much as he values you too. So that will be my contribution towards that question. And Pastor Joe, I hope that helps. I think he'll type it in the chat.
Yeah, he gave me a thumbs up.
Okay. I'm yet to see that. All right, thank you so much for that question. Are there any other questions? Let's see the time. Okay, we still have a bit of time, about 8 or 9 minutes to go. So if you have any, or it could be a contribution, anything you want to say. While we wait for people, in one of your submissions, I remembered an experience that a professor friend of mine who came from the States. We had a training program and went to, I'm not going to mention the name of the establishment, but in the evening when he retired to his room, he found a mouse or a rat. I think it was a rat. He calls the front desk and they come, and the one who comes to attend to the issue is laughing and goes like, oh, maybe that's your, she's a wife or something, coming to visit you. And obviously that wasn't amusing, but what you said about the article that the man wrote, where our customer experience is bad, but we are being sort of, first of all, we're not taking it seriously. We are being nonchalant about it, because of the whole attitude and mindset we have towards it. So,
we make humor out of every bad thing.
Sometimes it helps, but there are other times when it's not welcome. It has its place. So I'm hoping that.
So, when I think Mr. JB asked about what we can do as a church. So I remember a colleague in CX posted something about customer experience, and I want to read it out. So she said, I think customer experience is similar to Christian experience in many ways that we can imagine. For one, they have the same initials, which is CX. Also, Jesus came outside earth, which is heaven, to solve humanity problems. And in CX, we have something we call the outside-in perspective. We try to design everything from the customer's perspective. But more importantly, Christianity teaches all to love our neighbors as we do ourselves, which is in effect empathy.
Yeah.
For customer experience to be effective, empathy cannot be excluded. As businesses, we need to understand and share the feelings of our customers so we can accurately meet their needs. Just as Christian faith works by love, so does customer experience work effectively by empathy. Also, like Christian experience, customer experience has apostles who champion the message. Whether we have the apostolic role as a chief customer experience officer, as heads, as executives, as practitioners, at any level to lead the propagation of the gospel, let's charge and train our whole team to empathize with our customer. Empathy in customer experience is not the duty of an individual, but of all who find themselves in the faith. Whether your faith is in the front line or you are an enabler in the private or even a public sector, we owe our customers empathy. Empathy is not pitying our customers, but rather personalizing solution in such a way that meets customers' needs. Empathy is the surest way to create customer evangelism. So as you can see, it's the same customer experience that we can see in our Christian experience. So this was not by me, but was by a colleague and CX as well. And I found that when I saw that, I was like, yeah, so we can see customer experience even in Christian experience as well. So just to add to what you said, answering to Mr. J.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That was a good read. If you don't mind, please forward that to me later.
Okay, sure.
He has another question. He says, do we have any national policy aiming to make us more hospitable or provide better customer experience as a nation?
Not that I know of. As a nation, I don't think we have one. I mean, I stand to be corrected, but I haven't heard of one. I haven't heard anybody speaking. As I said, I know US the past years, I think last year, in Ghana, I don't know, even consumer protection, we are now trying to pass the law or come into in again. So I don't think we have one, but I stand to be corrected if we have one, but I don't think we have one.
Or probably do the research and then get back to Pastor Joe. Any others?
I think someone tried raising the hand and she went off. I think Evelyn Akushie. I don't know.
Oh, okay. She's back in now. Evelyn.
Yes, it was an arrow. I just want to issues with my.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. But do you have any experience you want to share? Hello, Evelyn, are you there?
Yeah, Abigail. It was an accident. So just ignore.
Yeah, I'm saying that, do you have any experience you'd want to share?
Yes, so I know that experience. Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, customer service and in Ghana, it's a different ball game. I remember one time that I went to the bank. I was trying to get some money. I believe it was MoneyGram in Ghana. So I went and I walked into the bank and I was asking where the MoneyGram station was, and the lady who spoke to me was so rude. She just pointed me to like where to go. It's kind of like, why are you asking me? And people don't have the notion that, here it's like in the US, the customer is always right. And people get into trouble if they don't exhibit the customer service qualities that they should. They get into trouble. You could really lose your job. But in Ghana, a lot of people don't care. And it's a huge difference when I'm back home, like the way customer service is versus the US. It's really terrible, but hopefully, I don't know if it's getting any better, but hopefully we are making progress in that respect.
Yeah, Evelyn, I understand that frustration. And as I said, it's communication. And we have both a verbal and non-verbal communication. So the person doesn't think her body language is communication enough to let you understand that the way she behaved was not right. But as I said, what happens to them? Or some people are taking the steps to try to resolve some of these things, but we are still calling and we'll get there because some people take initiative. I can witness, or I've heard some few couple where there's some few that the customers have gone ahead to report and they have to even get the CCTV, and the CCTV, though you can't hear the voice, you can see the body language of the employee, which says that really the body language didn't depict what the company started from, and the person had to be punished. So some people, yes, are trying, or some institutions or companies or businesses are trying. So we need everybody to come on board to be able to change the whole agenda. One person cannot solve it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Evelyn. So our time is up. We'll ask Amanda to give us her final remarks, and then we'll draw the curtain.
Okay, so I'll say thank you once again. And what I'll say is everybody's responsibility. wherever we find ourselves, we should know that somebody is depending on us to provide the best of experience to the customer. And we are in business because of the customer. The day the customer says, I'm not going to buy again, and I mean, that ends your business. And as much as we have to provide the best of service or experience to our customers, we need to provide the best of experience to our employees as well. We cannot do one and leave the other. It goes hand in hand. So for us to be able to retain our customers, for us to be able to increase our brand awareness, for us to be able to increase our revenue, for us to build a good brand reputation, and for us to be able to even get insights as to new products and services to implement. That means we need to accept and look at customer experience as the integral part of our business strategy. That is when we can only make a difference and cause everybody to come on board from beginning or from the head to the last person to create the culture of customer centricity, so that as a whole or as a body, we'll be able to provide the experience that customers need. Thank you, Abigail.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. I would love for us to thank Amanda Akushie on my behalf. I inadvertently sent her the wrong date for this session, but somehow she's managed to come, and I'm really, really grateful. She's sort of sacrificed part of her fun time with family and has been able to join us here. So thank you very much, Amanda. This has been a very educative and empowering session. And we're hoping that we're all going to go away with this knowledge and impact our society and the environment around us. All right, so this has been the ABBY IMANI Reveals Show. This is where we speak, we are real so that we can live, and not just live any life, but the life that Christ has given us, that abundant life. So we'll pray at this point. Amanda, please, if you don't mind, close us in prayer.
Okay, let's pray.
Thank you.
Gracious Lord, we thank you so much for a successful meeting. We thank you for bringing us together. We ask that whatever we've learned, enable us that will not just be the listeners, but will also be the doers, and will also teach others how to do it and do it perfectly well. As we are leaving, be with us and let also keep us throughout the night and keep us as we sleep. Wake us up tomorrow with renewed strength that we'll be able to go about our daily activities as we should. Those and many other things we ask in Jesus' name. We pray with thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Amen.
All right. So as always, as you exit, you can unmute yourself, show your face if possible. And let's say goodbye to each other.
Is Amanda still on? Someone wants to say hi.
Is that Nana I'm seeing?
Yeah, so Nana is a very good friend of mine. She's visiting.
Small world.